I'm Felicia Day, writer of the new Audible original Third Eye, and I ask all of you for some of your nerdiest questions, so let's see if I have an answer for you. These are the voices of Audible. Matthew, time travel would be very cool until you read a lot of history and realize A, being a woman pretty much sucked any other time in existence, and B, there's a lot of diseases that would instantly kill me. Also, people were stinky. People got put into slavery and killed a lot just for being on the street. So yeah, maybe 20 years ago. I do like the 80s. Oh, that's more than 20 years ago, isn't it? Oh God, I'm old. Next question. I get mistaken a lot for Emily Blunt. Whenever she has a new movie come out, I have some people in LA looking at me like, is that Emily Blunt? It's not. I'm like her, I guess, younger, quirkier cousin. She has a better nose than me, let's just be honest. Although I really like Amy Adams and her vibes would make me maybe a deeper person because I'm not as deep as Amy Adams on any day. So yeah, let's go with whatever I just said. Well, Scott, I had the characters in mind in that they felt very real to me the minute I started writing them on paper, but I did not have specific people in mind except for Wil Wheaton for Robigus. I always knew that he would be that character because we worked together on other projects and our collaboration is very special to me and I wanted to keep that going. I certainly had Neil Gaiman in my mind as the narrator, but you never think that, hey, he'll actually do it. He did, which I will always be honored that he took time out of his schedule and also liked it enough to do it. That was blew my mind. So it really is amazing when you create these characters, but then you know somebody who's so perfect and then they come in and they add 30% more to anything you wrote. It is really the gift of creating something, and that's why I feel so very lucky that the cast is so perfect for this show. Well, Jeanette, I didn't go to elementary school. I was homeschooled. I did go to I'll correct that. I did go to half of 1 year of first grade. In elementary school, I guess during those years, I was very isolated and it was just me and my brother and we did lessons and just hung around the house and slept as late as we wanted. Didn't really do much schoolwork. I was raised like a wolf and I guess I turned out okay, but I definitely was a strange kid. I really loved reading. I was reading Perry Mason novels when I was 7 and 8 because I really liked noir detective novels from the 30s at that age. So yeah, I was weird then too. My daughter definitely takes after me. She will go to any public event with other children and be like, I want to be alone. I got involved in gaming when I was 8 years old and I was sitting on my mom's lap and she was playing a text adventure game. Yes, y'all, I look great, but I'm pretty old. And I just knew that people played games and I loved it. And we had an Atari and I would play Bomberman and we'd play Tank and all these really old school games. And then of course, as I grew up, I would get other platforms and I played different games on PC and I had an Amiga, which is a very, it's very old school. Wow, that's really hard. I mean, I will say that some of Scalzi's books read by my friend Wil Wheaton, who happens to be in Third Eye, are really wonderful. There's a lit RPG series called Dungeon Crawler Carl, who has some pretty amazing narration. And I mean, I'm really into the lit RPG scene, so that's my guilty pleasure now. And either listening to them or reading them is a real passion to me. One of the first video games I ever remember playing by myself was Marble Madness. It was basically a marble and you rolled it around and I used the mouse and I thought it was literally the most magical game I've ever played in my life. It was truly phenomenal. Vance, my favorite class in D&D is, it's really hard because I like being a wizard. I like having all the skill points and I like to know all of the languages and I like to be really high in history and arcana. I like doing nerdy roles to be able to solve problems without fighting. But I do like being a sorcerer because it's high charisma, low intelligence, and that's really fun to role play. This project had been in my head since 2015. I wrote this as my next starring television role. I did pitch it to Hollywood. I wrote the pilot. Nobody really wanted it, and it was pretty devastating. And this is the biggest thing I have written since my web show, The Guild. Thank goodness in 2018, I started working with Audible to adapt this into a longer form project. I wrote it all the way through COVID, so I learned a lot about myself there. And I will say that I learned to be a lot more free in planning out big stories and not as nervous about small problems in writing, because there are all these big problems you have to solve before you get to the nitty-gritty. Like, the collaborative effort of making this project in audio was an incredible journey. My cast made everything so much better than I would have thought just writing it on a piece of paper, and I can't wait for everybody to hear it. I like to wake up early because I don't stay up late very well. I'm a mom, so I'm boring now. Waking up early and you have that hour of peace before everybody else wakes up, even the dog, and it's just like this beautiful, precious, spiritual time where I can just kind of prepare myself for the day and theoretically work out, which I never do. Everybody gave really good questions, so I want to thank everybody for not making it awkward. So thank you guys. Thanks for supporting. No more questions. Please check out Third Eye now on Audible. It is my baby. It is so much content. It is so funny and has so much heart. Please check it out for me.